I would like to introduce you to not only one of the nicest guys in the world, but one of the best string players. Remember, even though he's principal viola of CSO now, he was one of the violins at CSO, and then won this principal viola spot too. I'm glad he doesn't play double bass. This is Charlie Pikler. Would you welcome him again, please? Charlie, would you tell us a little bit about the Beezhold Concerto? It's not one many people know about.
Well, Frank Beezhold was a freelance violinist in the city of Chicago and a professor of violin at the Northern Illinois University, and someone who I knew since almost when I came to Chicago in 1978. Perhaps a year or so later, I met him in the Chicago Chamber Orchestra. When he heard that I had engaged by Sir George Schulte to become the principal violist of the Chicago Symphony, he had the idea of surprising me with a viola concerto. And roughly 6 months into my probationary period of having that principal viola chair, he called me up and said, "Charlie, I have a viola concerto I'd like you to hear." And he actually waited a few months to try to get set a time with me because my schedule was so busy. He came over the summer of 1987 and brought a pianist and played the work with me, for me. And I was very touched by it. And little did I know this was going to be a present that he was going to give me. And he immediately, after he heard my approval of the piece, he wrote out a dedication, which I'm going to ask Dr. Dennis to read.
It says, "To good friend and esteemed colleague Charles Pikler, whose primary artistry is good fortune for the composer and joy for the listener."
Well, the story goes the piece has its complications, and I didn't have really the time to try to learn it at that given point in time because I was busy. And I had looked at it about a year later and told him, well, we're going to try to set up a performance which was to take place in 1990. Roughly April, I had a recital set up at the Highland Park, Illinois Library, and I told him I'd like you to be the guest speaker and talk a little bit about the piece. Unfortunately, he passed away in December of 1989, and he only got to hear the piece by me on a couple of preliminary rehearsals. And never heard the orchestra score, only heard it with the piano. So it was very sad for me that here I'm left with a nice present and no composer to help me sort the problems of it out. But anyway, I proceeded to do that concert in Highland Park for him as a memorial, and fortunately I had the opportunity to play with 3 different orchestras in 1990 and 1991, and so this performance today is actually the 4th performance with the orchestra.
His daughter, Mr. Frank's daughter, is with us today, and she will be in the lobby if you'd like to talk to her afterward. She'll also have some scores. I thought it was an interesting idea. She's willing to, for the copying cost, $20 if you'd like to have a score of it. And Charlie has been willing to offer to sign those if you'd like to get one of those. So we hope you enjoy the Beezhold Concerto.
And I promise I'll be the last person to leave today, so anybody who has the idea of purchasing this and having a signature on it, you won't miss me.